Hey folks, welcome to guitar class video. This is the first one here, so let me take just a moment and explain kind of the structure of these videos. Each video will be somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes long. It's going to kind of focus on one small set of skills, usually relating to a page in your course book. And so at the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you what it is that you need to be able to do in order to kind of pass the little skills check-in that you may or may not be asked to do in the next class. If you can do that, you're probably fine. You probably don't need to watch the video. Maybe a good idea to look through. I might be giving some hints and tips that you might not know. But if you feel comfortable with what I show you at the beginning of the video, you're good to go. If you're not so comfortable, the video hopefully should explain everything you need to know. You may need to watch it a few times, and this is just a way for everybody to get on the same page for the beginning of the class without taking a lot of time. For somebody it might come easier to, somebody it might not be, and then with class we can go and be playing songs and doing more fun stuff like that. So looking forward to a great semester. Here we go. This first video is going to be on tuning the guitar, and there's a process that I want you to know how to go through. Hopefully a lot of you have electronic tuners, and that is a great thing to use, but I want you to be able to tune your guitar without it. So the first thing you need to do is match your low E string here with something else, a piano, another guitar, tuner, anything that you want to get that low E string in tune. If you're playing by yourself, you don't need to match it to anything else. As long as it's pretty close to E, you just need to be in tune with yourself. So I just matched this up with the tuner before, so we're going to go from there. So here, the order of my strings, by the way, are E, A, D, G, B, E. And this highest string, which is not in tune right now, should be E. We call that the first string. The second string, the next lowest, is B, G, D, A, E. Ed ate dynamite, goodbye Ed, is what I've heard to remember that, if that helps you. So remember, when I talk about the highest string, or the first string, we're talking about the highest in pitch, so the smallest string. So I'm going to start with my low E string in tune, the sixth string. And if I go up to the 5th fret here, I don't know how well you can see that, number 5, usually you're going to have a dot on your neck. For most people it will be the second dot, or you're going to have the inlay right here on the guitar. 5th fret, that should match my open A string, my 5th string. So I'm going to play the 5th fret, but I'm going to make sure not to mute my A string by touching it with the finger I'm playing the 5th fret with. So 5th fret on the E string, I'm going to let it ring for a second, and we can hear those do not match right now. So I need to go up here, find the tuning peg that is attached to my A string. By the way, this is going to be the E, the A, and the D. On the other side, the G, B, and E. So I need to find that tuning peg, which here it's the second one. And I'm going to get this pitch in my head, because this is what I'm going for. This 5th fret on the E string. Now, while I'm adjusting this tuning peg, I want to be playing my open A string. Now if I go the wrong way, it's no big deal. See, I need to go up, but I just went down. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to try to remember that sound that was at the 5th fret. Once I think I've got it, or if I forget where I was, I'm going to check again. Those are pretty good, and if you get it that close, you're going to be off to a good start. I'm also listening for a little waver in the sound. That wobble, how fast it goes tells me how out of tune I am. The faster that wobble in this, it kind of goes woo, 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 woo. If it gets slower, you're closer to being in tune. Faster, you're more out of tune. So, pretty good. Now, nice thing is, on the A string, I got to go up to the 5th fret here again. And there we go, that should match my D string. pretty close, right? There's a little waver, so I'm going to just choose one way to go. When it's really close, it's really hard to tell. You might be able to tell that it's out of tune, but you might have a hard time telling which way. If it's out of tune enough that you want to fix it, you've got a 50-50 shot of being right. So I'm going to get that sound in my head again. I'm going to guess that it's a little high. So I'm going to go down, so always playing the string while I adjust so I can listen to my adjustment. Alright, so I heard it go down just a little bit. I always want to play up until I hear it actually change. And then 5th fret on my A string again, and compare it to my open D string. Now I think that just got a little bit worse, personally, depending on how well that comes across on your computer speakers. Notice I'm letting both of them ring at the same time. Pretty close. I'm going to go back the other way just a little bit. And there we go, no waver there. On my D string, I'm going to go up to the 5th fret again and play that. Should match my open G. And the G is a little low. I just heard it go up. I might have gone too far. We'll see. Yeah. There's that waver again, but now it's too high. So. By the way, some people ask, oh, which direction do I turn these? And ideally, that you just get the feel for it. I don't even think about which direction I need to turn. I just think of higher or lower. But if you're listening while you're tuning your guitar, it shouldn't matter. You should be able to, if you're going the wrong way, you should immediately adjust back the other way. Alright, so the G string, tuning to the open B string, or tuning the open B string to your G string is a little different from all the others. This one, I'm only going to go to the 4th fret. So right here, 4th fret on my G should match my open B. Ooh, that is way off. Now, hopefully you can hear that that's low. Da, da. Sometimes I need to play them one at a time. So I play them to ring, and I can tell that they're definitely not right. If I can't tell which one is higher or lower, I'll play one. I can hear that the pitch went from high to low. So I'm going to bring that B string up. So I almost adjusted the wrong one, and that'll happen sometimes. But here's my B string tuning peg. And I've got that pitch kind of in my ear that I played on the 4th fret of the G. But if I forgot it while I'm tuning, I just go back and check. And then the B string, I go back up to the 5th fret, and that should match my high E. Way off. I usually like to go back and double check. So this will serve as kind of your check-in if you know all this stuff. To tune I'm going to get my E string in tune, right? A lot of times I do that with the tuner, and then I turn my tuner off. 5th fret on the E string should match my open A. 5th fret on the A string should match my open D. 5th fret on the D should match my open G. 4th fret on the G should match my open B. And the 5th fret on my B should match my high E. Sometimes if your guitar is way out of tune, you may notice you went through and you matched everything perfectly, and then you go back again and some of the strings aren't in tune. And that's because the tension that you put on or take off as you're tuning up your guitar, as you adjust one string, it'll actually change the tension slightly of the other. So sometimes if you're way out, you need to go back through another time and now make some finer adjustments. So if you know the frets that you need to tune and match, you're good. If you know that you need to be playing a string while you're adjusting it, so you're using your ear to tune, you're not just looking at how far you think you need to and guessing and then trying again. So you should be playing your string while you're tuning. That is another thing that I'll be checking for. And then the last thing is I want you to make sure that you're letting both strings ring. And really just letting them settle in for a second and listening, is that close, or is that good, is that in tune? And that's how you tune your guitar. The last thing that you should know is the names of each of your strings. E, A, D, G, B, E. Alright, have fun tuning your guitar, and we'll see you in the next video.